Okay guys, today got an unboxing of this Dynaloop plasma cutter. It's a DC 500 DP, so it's 110 and a 220 volt also. And this one is one of the cheaper, inexpensive plasma cutters. So I'm going to take a look, see what's in the box here. You can get these on Amazon. I think this was about $230, maybe something like that, around $230, just a little over $200. I think it's supposed to do up to 3/4 inch. So let's see what's in here. Okay, here's all your accessories. You got a plug that goes from like the 110 plug to a 240 volt or 220 volt plug adapter. There's your air line. It's got a bunch of extra tips. Hopefully you can see the size of these tips. Different ones take different type of tips, and this one takes kind of a smaller tip. They're all chrome plated. I'm guessing they're copper underneath all that chrome. A lot of them you see they're just pure copper. This is the ground cable, and it looks like a pretty good ground cable. It's got pure copper in between here, so you get a good contact and copper contacts. And this sort of plug, solid brass on the end. Get your manual. So this is the type where you don't have to contact the metal. It automatically creates the arc. And this is the cutter head. It comes with a standoff already on it. You can see that. It's got that standoff on it. There's your ceramic insulator. It has a, see, I wasn't sure about this. It told me how long the cord was, but it didn't have a picture of the torch itself. So this is a pretty good torch. Some of the torches I've seen on the inexpensive ones is just a switch that's zip tied to a handle, and it's real cheap looking. This one looks pretty good. It's got safety, and there's your switch, a little standoff. It's got a nice feeling rubberized coating sheath on it. Doesn't smell that bad. A lot of the Chinese rubber is pretty stinky smelling. Here's the other connections. That is probably your air line. This is your, probably, I guess that's the electronics. I'm not sure if that's for power. The power goes through this part of it. I'm not sure exactly how these work. It's my first one. I just want to show what's in the box, because they don't, on Amazon's website, they don't even show you anything but the unit itself. They show you a picture of that. They don't show you any of these accessories or other parts. So if someone's looking for one of these, this particular model, it seemed like it had a little more power. It's supposed to be a 50 amp auto arc. This one's the auto arc, and this one is just where you gotta touch the material to get the arc going. Okay, so that's what's in that box there. And when I got this in the mail, first of all, the box is really small. You know, that's I don't know, 18 inches across or something like that. So I thought, wow, this thing's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. here's the unit. That's all that's left in the box. And they got some pretty good styrofoam packing all around it, so it should go through the mail good. See if this goes down here. Just gonna cut that. Kind of had it tied up there. So yeah, this is my first one. I did a lot of research on them, watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and it seemed like there was not a lot of videos on, I didn't see this one in particular. There was just a couple of videos on the cheaper ones. I think these is real inexpensive ones. So I think you're kind of taking a chance. I was going off of the whatever specs they said on Amazon for the unit. Let's take a look in here, see if they have a technical data sheet here. They do. I'll show you the technical data on it. So if you're interested in getting one of these, it's 50 amps. D is dual voltage. It cuts 12 millimeters at 65, and then the max cutting thickness is 16 millimeters, which is a little more than most of the 50 amp ones. Went to 12 maximum, and this one said 16 max, so I thought it was pretty good. That's inverter technology, and here's all the specs if you're interested in that stuff. So I'm going to try it out on some different thicknesses of metal with 110, and then I have in my garage I have two 20 amp circuits, which I'm going to make up a 220 on it. So hopefully, let's see, I didn't check into that, but not sure how many amps it needs. Input current range 35 to 40, 40 to 50 input amps. As far as I know, this works with a regular 20 amp outlet. So there is no such thing. Here's an output current. There's no such thing as a 40 amp 110. So we'll see. Okay guys, as far as power input for this plasma cutter, I was trying to figure out what size breaker or what size outlet do I need to plug this into, and nowhere in here does say the amperage breaker you need to run with this. It just says 110 or 220 volt power input. It can run off either one. So if you got a, but it does have a marking on this adapter cord. It says 5W-15R, so that's a 15 amp plug. So the most you can run through there's 15 amps. Okay, so it has this cutting thickness chart here, and it's all in millimeters. So I'm going to show on a ruler what that is in inches. The max at 50 amps and 220 is 12 millimeter. So 12 millimeter is just short of ½ inch, I'd say. If it was 13, it'd probably, between 12 and 13 is probably ½ an inch. And I'll test all this to see if it'll cut ½ inch and what thickness I can get it to cut. So, and then it also states in here somewhere that 16 millimeter is the maximum cutting thickness, but it won't be a real clean cut. which 16 millimeter turns out to be just short of, it's about 5/8, I guess you'd say, probably about 5/8 of an inch. And then with 110 volts, it says 10 millimeter, so 10 millimeter would be right there. That'd be 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch. So here's the front panel, what all the different switches and knobs do. And let's see here. Shows you how to assemble tips. Okay, so here's the consumables for this one here. The DC 500 DP uses this type of consumables, AG 60P consumables. Looks like they're, it's the same consumables as the other, but that's the size of the electrodes and everything. That was another thing, it didn't tell you on the website what type of consumables it used. So there you go. So we'll take a look at it. It's not very big. It's probably about 14 inches across here. It's a metal housing, plastic front. It's good ventilation here. It's marked 110 35 amp max, 30 to 50 psi, and 220 50 amp, 30 to 70 psi. Here's your amps. It's got a little digital gauge. It has a little thing on the front here, front of the dial. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Right here it'll tell you if you're plugged into 110 or 220. Something about OC. I'm not sure what that's for. There's your pressure gauge. It says warning, do not exceed 75 psi. Got some more feet here. And there's a, looks like a drain on the bottom here. Also, another thing, it has this air regulator there. So I was thinking it didn't come with a regulator dryer, but it does. And at the bottom of it, you can see that drain hole. I showed it earlier. There's a drain hose sticking out the bottom. It has an internal regulator. There's that knob that's on top. And air dryer also. So it dries the air. It's all internal. It has a fitting on the back already for a coupler. On-off switches on the back. I'm guessing this is your regulator for your air. Looks like a pretty good heavy cord. Says 3G 4 millimeter. Sometimes plugs are right in. Doesn't say anything on the plug. Says it'll say 50 or 20 amps on it. Oh, there you go, guys. So let's see. This is what's in the box. And now you know if you're getting ready to buy one of these. I like the handle. It's a pretty sturdy, good handle on it. If you're interested in getting one of these, I'll have another video where I'm cutting different materials with it. You can see how it works. This one was rated a little bit higher than some of the other ones. I haven't seen any videos of it in use yet. So, there you go, guys.